Level up your gaming space with metal posters from Displate. Hang your displates in seconds. Swap them whenever you like. Get official art from your favorite games on a uniquely designed metal canvas and choose from thousands of posters. Join over 3 million collectors now. Your wall upgrade is here. Shop now at Displate.com.
I was slowly on a downward spiral. I lost completely everything in my life. I needed to find myself again. I heard about the Life Change program. It gives you the tools and teaches you different things. It feels amazing to be able to smile every day.
Hello, hello. Welcome back.
We should probably move that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heavy
Just because
box.
it's got a label on it.
Yep.
Alright. So, to the phone first of all, because we were talking
Yeah.
about something.
I instinctively put it away.
Yeah, I know. Like, normally we're all like, fuck your phone. Now, tonight, actually, I asked Anaya to look something up because we don't really have, unless people show up, we won't really have many questions. So what we're going to sit here and talk about a little bit is this glorious thing that we've got going on, which would be multiclassing. Nobody ever talks about it, except saying what combinations are terrible.
Alright, 13 worst D&D multi-class builds. First one, Rogue Paladin.
That depends. Rogue Paladin? Really? Backstab Smite's a bad idea? Like...
CreatureCollege.com says both Rogue and Paladin classes have some overlap in terms of abilities and skills, but they don't have a lot of natural synergies and are left with a slow progression due to their different needs. Paladins are typically frontline fighters, while Rogues are more focused on stealth and finesse combat. This can make it difficult to find a playstyle that works well with both.
To the handbook. Fuck that. Okay. So, I don't really know Pally that well. You do.
Yeah.
But I know Rogue really well. So, Aura of Courage, Sacred Oath features, Aura of Protection, Ability Score Improvements, Divine Health, Sacred Oaths.
Yeah, I'm opening up Rogue, because I don't know Rogue very well.
Improved Divine Smite. Okay, so you could totally use your backstab bonus on an improved smite because it's an up close and personal. On a dagger.
Oh, God.
From stealth. I need the paladin spell list, actually. Because that's really gonna matter as to how you build it. Because, let's face it, it's not a question of whether or not it works. And I'm totally gonna have to try this now. But ranger spells, sorcerer spells, bless, command, compel, duel, cure wounds, detect evil, detect poison, disease, divine favor, heroism, protection from evil and good, purify food and drink, searing smite, thunderous smite, wrathful smite. Wrathful smite. Deities. No, too far. Tasha's hideous left. Wall of ice. Wrathful smite. Concentration for up to a minute. One bonus action. The next time you hit with a melee weapon attack during this spell's duration, your attack deals an extra 1d6 psychic damage. Additionally, if the target's a creature, it must make a wisdom saving throw or be frightened of you until the spell ends. As an action, the creature can make a wisdom check against your spell save difficulty to steal its resolve and end the spell. Okay, so, and that's a level 1 evocation. So let's just be square about this. This means that if the only thing that I do is take Warcaster, put it on that Paladin Rogue, give it Wrathful Smite so that everything's going to try and run away from it, and I'll get an attack of opportunity every round. And I get backstab damage, plus psychic damage, plus whatever bonuses are on my weapon, plus if I coat it in poisons. And I can detect which daggers and weapons I've coated in poisons and which ones I've... Yeah, let's just talk about some shit here. That will work out beautifully. You just really have to watch what spells you're using as a paladin, and that's going to be your low end. You probably want to go mainline rogue so you get all the extras. Mm-hmm. And then you're just going to be a damage pump. You don't really want anything above medium armor, though, because, I mean, the medium armor that you could use as a pally is fine. Mm-hmm. And by all means, don't go redemption. Vengeance, awesome. Redemption, nope. Yep. There will be no redeeming this soul.
Not this one. No, not
Your job is to not redeem. You're a sacrificing paladin. Everybody is called to the God's Blade at some point, and it's your job to take their head. I'd say a 10 by 10 would work. Start off with 5 in Rogue. Give it a nice backstory, like they were living as a street urchin and a hired knife when need be, and
A sudden holy encounter.
they were given an option by a local proliferate church. Proletarian churches running the city-state make for a very interesting background story for a character. Because, yeah, you started your life as a rogue, swindling, stabbing people, doing what you needed to, did a few muggings, kind of just did a little bit of shanking for cash a few times. But now all of a sudden, oh, you went to shank the wrong person because they were a paladin? And tell you what, you got 2 options. Either A, you now work for me and learn what I do, and figure out why it is that taking every contract is stupid. So you got 5 levels in Rogue right there, which gives you a pretty nice, I think it's like, what, 3d6 backstab at that point? 3d6 plus an extra 1d6 for Wrathful.
Mm-hmm.
And because you're stealth, the probability of it killing your concentration. And that's just with 1 spell. You can also heal yourself. You're going to get that divine health thing going down. Take another 5 levels of Rogue after 10 levels of Paladin, and keep it to the quiet medium armor that doesn't fuck with your stealth checks, and you're golden. Or have your armor stealthed. Ask Wisp about that shit.
Right.
No, it's workable.
Alright, number 2, Barbarian Wizard. Given their opposite focuses, a Barbarian and Wizard multiclass wouldn't be the wisest of choices when making a melee spellcaster. With the Wizard class being defined by their spellcasting, having a Barbarian dip wouldn't be ideal. Whenever the rage features in use, as it would hinder your build in casting spells. The Barbarian/Wizard also makes for a more squishy front line, as the Wizard class only provides a 1d6 plus Constitution modifier per level up.
True. But in a rage or out of a rage, a Barbarian gets their Constitution modifier to their armor class, thus making it a little harder to hit your Wizard. Sure, he can't cast spells when he's in a rage, nor maintain concentration on spells when he's in a rage.
Mm-hmm.
But Wizards gain the ability to create magical items up to the spell level that they can cast can be put into these items. Who's to say that this particular wizard isn't a hardcore obsessive enchanter that goes straight nerd rage on a hot minute, but he can make +3 robes of armor. They don't count as armor, so you can tack those on. Do the same with rings or whatever. Give himself a firebrand sword, and now you have Count Fuck Around and Find Out. I mean, yeah, it's going to be harder because of the whole, like, mechanic being complicated between rage and not. It's like, but when you start getting low on hit points and you don't need to be hit by nothing no more, pop that rage and half your damage.
Alright. Ranger Sorcerer. The Ranger Sorcerer multiclass build is a viable combination, but is an insufficient combination to pursue. While this combination can provide some interesting thematic options for your character, it can also result in a lack of focus and weaker combat and spellcasting abilities due to splitting ability scores between dexterity or strength, wisdom, and charisma.
Well, yes and no. If you use feats to boost your stats, it's totally a different story. If your DM's just using straight numbers, no feats, and you have to take the stat or the ability score increases as is, that's a different story. But you get 4 of them, so if you just even if you just use stat increases, you'd be fine. Just roll high.
Monk Sorcerer. The Monk and Sorcerer multiclass are multiple ability scores dependent on the Wisdom and Charisma ability scores, and can make for slower progression for both classes. In this case, the Sorcerer wouldn't delve into as many spells as one would like, and even though it would be an interesting build, it can lead to an inadequate amount of sorcery and key points to take advantage of.
Actually, to be perfectly honest, it's just a moot point. Monk slash caster actually isn't. I can see why people would think about it, but the fact is that there is one particular archetype of monk that if you really want to go that way, it's like you are now the Avatar from The Last Airbender. You can switch it out and you can literally cast spells with your monk abilities burning key points. There's no longer actually a viable reason to do that. Like 3.5, totally.
I'm just thinking over because I have the 3.5 books, at least the main set.
Yeah, and in 3.5, sorcerer monk all day.
Yeah.
Especially since you could go beyond level 20 before people went, nope, that's just broken.
Right.
No, beyond level 20, you just find bigger, badder meanies.
Paladin Ranger. Paladins and Rangers are both partial casters, meaning that they utilize a mix of magic and non-magical attacks. Every level spent in one class is a level not spent in another, which means players may have to sacrifice key features in one class in order to make room for abilities in the other. Even so, it could potentially work. There is an investment to create a Paladin Ranger multiclass, which is specifically a 13 in strength, dexterity, charisma, and wisdom.
Okay, they're using the point buy system.
Mm-hmm.
That completely screws it off.
Yeah.
There you have to take the ability score increases because of the point buy.
Yep.
And that's really, at that point, not viable. They're right.
Yep. Paladin Monk.
Paladin Monk.
Unfortunately, it is not viable to have the Paladin Monk multiclass given the splitting of ability scores. This multiclass has a requirement of having at least 13 in dexterity and wisdom for a monk, and strength and charisma for a paladin. So if you are having to create a character using the point buy system, you may not have that many points to invest in other ability scores to make this build effective.
Yeah, most DMs that I've ever played with do not like point buy.
Yeah.
We like rolling stats where we come from.
Right?
Because, yeah, you might end up with a 6 somewhere.
Yeah.
You'd have to reroll all your 1s 3 times for me to make that happen.
Yeah. Killer almost ended up with a 4.
I will make somebody reroll until they get something. I will take their dice away and give them new ones. No.
I would have had so much fun trying to play Kalora with a 4 in intelligence.
Hey, broccoli.
Right. Come on, Big Tom.
Yeah, Big Bird. What is the matter?
Come on. Kill it.
Big dumb bird. Beer. Kill.
God, that would have been so fucking fun.
Yeah, but it's really hard to write a story for that much stupid.
Right. No, the reason I willingly bumped it up to originally an 8 was the concept of, like, it would be really, really hard for me to play that stupid as thoughtful of a human as I am. It would have been difficult to play that stupid.
That's why I make my players re-roll all their 1s until they get something else, because as far as I'm concerned on stats, that's a really bad idea. I mean, you can't even talk at an intelligence of 2, and your vocabulary is incredibly limited at a 4. 6, you can't do numbers, really.
Yeah, Kalora still struggles with numbers.
Yeah, and Kalora's average, they're a 10.
A 9.
A 9, but that's still average. It doesn't get the negation.
Yep. Let's see. Artificer Monk. While it's possible to create a functional Artificer Monk multiclass in D&D 5e, the combination presents several challenges that may make it less effective than other multiclass options. Artificers and Monk have little natural synergy, as Artificers are focused on crafting and creating magical items, while Monks are focused on martial arts and unarmed combat.
I call bullshit. Alright, so the Artificer's in Tasha. I know that for a fact.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take a look at this because I forget the name of what type of Artificer, and I love that class. It's broken is why most DMs don't want you to play it. I mean, you got 20 levels, sure, but magical tinkering and things of that nature, sure, you're making mundane objects. You have a little automaton creature you created and things of that nature. You have cantrips and such. But when you get into, there's the specialists, alchemist, no, the armorer. What if your armorer was weaving mithril thread to make their artifice items? You know. Or an artificer makes a bow staff. Take monk weapons and use an artificer to make them using like the armor or the, not the artillerist, or the battlesmith. Actually, yeah, a battlesmith monk would be brutal.
When I first started thinking about multiclassing Kalora, I actually originally looked at the Battlesmith Monk. Or the Battlesmith Artificer. Because Battlemaster Battlesmith just sounds so OP.
Oh, I'm looking at it, so yes. And, I mean, let's see. Ninth level, Aura of Vitality and Conjure Barrage. Gain access to all martial weapons as a battlesmith. You can create a Steel Defender construct as a third level battlesmith. Arcane Jolt is a 9th level feature. You've learned the ways to channel arcane energy to harm or heal. When you either hit a target with a magic weapon attack or Steel Defender hits a target, you can channel them. You can teach your Steel Defender Kung Fu. It gets to punch extra for you because you're technically a caster. If you're a monk and you can flurry of blows, and once per round, it does an extra 2d6 force damage. How is that not viable? I only have to take 9 levels in that, and that gives me up to level 11 in a monk, which is brutal.
Right. Cleric Wizard.
Why? I mean, yes, it'll work. Just put all of your points into intelligence and wisdom. Fuck charisma.
Right.
Don't worry about anything but intelligence and wisdom, boys and girls, and that'll work gloriously.
I need to run to the bathroom again. I'll be
Okay.
back.
Well,
I'll be right back.
I don't have anything in the audience box. That's not helpful.
No, you can sit here and continue to try to argue the Cleric Wizard.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
I am listening.
fair. I mean, like, let's think about this. Cleric. Well, I mean, being able to use armor would be nice. Path of Wisdom would work. Like a Path of Knowledge cleric, maybe.
Ooh.
Because at that point it gives you bonus arcane spell slots.
I can see that. I do feel like you'd be making some seriously detrimental sacrifices to build it, though.
Not really if you went 10 and 10. It's going to be a slow progression until you hit basically 10th level, so 5 in each.
Yep.
But from there, it's a cakewalk. I mean, I wouldn't go like all Path of Light or Holy Path cleric about it. There's just some things you have to do to get spell components that go completely against that particular cleric brotherhood, so no. I mean, you're going to be limited as to what type of cleric you could viably use for that, just because, well, you can fall out of favor with your god for some of the things you might have to do to get spell components.
True.
I mean, how do you think you get the ingredients for a potion? When it calls for baby dragon's liver in the book, you know what you gotta go do?
You gotta go kill a baby dragon.
And take out its liver
Yep.
and puree it.
Yep.
What's this potion for? Arcane manifestation. What do you mean? Oh, it will allow you to manifest a spell-like ability by the end of it. Which would be absolutely wonderful. The ability to use more than slings, stabs, daggers, and short swords would also be quite lovely. I mean, wizard with a mace is kind of scary.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, a wizard with a mace is terrifying. And it would negate the problem of dying of 1d4 hurt feelings damage that wizards tend to suffer in early levels.
What happened? A goblin bit him and he died.
Right.
Challenge rating 1/8 monster killed your character. You started off as a wizard, didn't you?
Sorcerer Wizard. Both powerful spellcasters in their own right. Interesting levels in both sorcerers and wizards for a multi-class may not be the wisest of choices, given the losses. If the sorcerer has more investment, the wizard aspect of the build wouldn't have much access to their spell book, but if vice versa, with wizardry, the sorcerer aspect of the build wouldn't have that many sorcery points to work with.
Yeah, that one I actually agree with, honestly. I mean, it's not as workable.
Yeah,
Warlock Sorcerer works. I mean, if you're looking for the ability and get the bonus cantrips, basically, because sorcerers do get their cantrips at least.
Mm-hmm.
Expanding your cantrip list would be slightly worth it, but you wouldn't want to take more than 5 levels in sorcerer for the expansion. Like, seriously. Because you really want that with the level 15 wizard thing, and they're right. The sorcery points are just nice because you'll be able to, at the right moment, do something like extend that fireball. Or enlarge spell so that it doubles the area of effect. That's a level 1 meta magic, I believe, so.
Mm-hmm.
Enlarge spell. Wizard casts spell because you can actually use meta magic on any spell that you can cast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that one has some viability, just it's a weird balance.
Yeah. Alright. The next 3 are one subclass, one overall class. Nature Domain Cleric / Druid. Though both of these classes have an affinity for nature, the Nature Domain Cleric Druid / Druid multiclass won't build wouldn't be as optimal as one would think, given that they have a lot of similarities. Pursuing this may lead to redundancy, with the Nature Domain Cleric offering access to abilities, spells, and class features that the Druid class already offers. It would simply be a repeat for this spellcasting mix, and can end up with a character with a dilution of character power.
That one I do agree with. I mean, no, that's just not going to work out.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I don't have any points to argue in favor of it either.
I mean, I could try, but I don't think I'm going to get anywhere because I got nothing.
Right? Path of the Berserker Barbarian / Warlock. Barbarians themselves don't meld with spellcasters, as the rage feature hinders spellcasting. Especially with the Warlock's classic best damaging cantrip, Eldritch Blast, it would be difficult to use spellcasting attacks in the midst of a rage. What's more, with the Path of the Berserker's level 3 feature Frenzy, the consequence of it having a level of exhaustion will hinder the Warlock's spellcasting. At certain levels, exhaustion levels inflicted on the character can disadvantage to ability checks and eventually disadvantage to attack rolls and saving throws, nerfing the spellcasting attacks of the Warlock class.
Yeah, they're not wrong.
No, they're not. I've played a Path of the Berserker. I mean, Antec is the Path of the Berserker.
Yeah.
And while he can get so many hits in, so many hits, he's real tired when he's done.
It's dead. Exactly.
Dragonborn goes down like a tree.
When that rage quits, it's gonna be bad.
Right? Alright, Antec, now run back to camp, killing everything you can on the way. Why? Because when you fall down, you're going to stay down a while.
You're gonna sleep for a minute.
So stay mad and run home.
Fast.
Right? And last on this list is Divine Soul Sorcerer with Cleric. Divine Soul Sorcerer combined with the Cleric class isn't ideal given all of the overlap and even duplicates of healing and support features that the two possess. In addition, with multiple ability score dependence on Charisma and Wisdom for Sorcerer and Cleric respectively, this multi-class may not provide the support of spellcasting as desired during and after battle given the spread.
Yeah, but the Charisma bonus and the proficiency in Charisma would be helpful in one particular area. Persuasion. Because it turns out that when you're using things like Divine Intervention or when you're praying, Persuasion can come into effect. I mean, it depends on how roleplay heavy your game is for that one. I could see it being viable because both offer the option, that just means that this makes it so I can lay on hands once per day, and so does this to me as a DM. There are ways that it could stack where it's actually viable. It just depends on the DM that you're dealing with, really.
Okay, let's go Scintilla Studios multi-classing and everything. How to make the worst character in D&D 5e. Let's see.
Multi-classing in everything.
Alright, here's the build we're working with. A human with a +1 to every stat. The race. In order to take a level in a given class, we need at least a 13 in its primary stat. Charisma for warlocks, sorcerers, dexterity for rogues, and so on. For this build, we need a 13 in everything except, oddly, Constitution. Using a point buy instead of standard array, we can afford a stat block of 11, 12, 13, 13, 13, 13. Adding the racial bonus, we have just what we need. If we put the 12 in Constitution, I left the 13 in Intelligence, since most of the level 1 spells use that stat, arcane casters are focused on utility instead of attacks or saving throws. Keep in mind that the ability score improvements are 4th level class features. With 15 levels to work with and 12 classes to cover, we won't ever get one. Settle in, friends, this is us for the rest of our life.
Oh, Jesus.
The character we're building has literally no special skills comparative to their other adventurers at this level. I figure the most likely way for someone in the general medieval fantasy setting of D&D to get that way is to come from privilege, so noble it is, for background. This also leaves us the most starting wealth to work with. Equipment. For a one-shot, starting equipment is a pretty fluid option. Often doesn't come up unless you can find a clever oddball use for it the DM might like. In either case, you're best off taking starting money rather than an equipment pack, especially since you'll need a variety of components and focuses for the spellcasting classes. Leveling up. Here's the full class list. For level 15, all class build. Monk 3, Way of the Open Hand. The subclass provides bonus attacks with finesse weapons, making your dexterity-based attacks just as viable as strength. Also, as it turned out, dashing as a bonus action was the most useful thing I could do. Barbarian, let's see. Barbarian, let's go back down, thank you. Barbarian 1. You'd think that you should start with a Barbarian to get the maximum possible hit points out of that D12 hit die. The class comes with almost no starting skill proficiencies. Besides hit points in this build mostly come from the Druid levels. Fighter 1. Take the dueling style. Considering your Barbarian features, it's most likely you'll be wielding a single weapon, and the other fighting styles conflict with unarmored defense. Paladin 1. Lay on hands and sense evil and good, adds much needed healing and utility to the build.
Shit.
Ranger 1. Unfortunately, this class's features overlap with almost completely with Fighter, but hey, we said every class. Rogue 1. A little bit of Rogue makes everything better. Always double your expertise and perception if you can. It's by far the most common check at the tables I've played at. Wizard, one level of Wizard. Whereas subsequent classes allow you to take spells of levels for which you have slots, Wizards get 6 level 1 spells as part of the spellbook feature and must add them from there. Taking this level first means you can add spells of higher levels through the other spellcasting features. Bard 1, College of Valor. As a caster, we're pretty pitiful. Not enough levels, so we get more out of the College of Valor, which lets you use Bardic Inspiration die for almost every kind of role in the game. Druid, 2 levels of Druid. Circle of the Moon. Again, choose the option that provides benefits other than spellcasting features, since we're limited to low-level creatures. Wild Shape amounts to temporary hit points as a bonus action, making it an ideal improvement to the whole stack. Warlock 1, Pact of the Great Old One. This pact provided some really interesting synergies. The Enlightened Mind feature will give us the option to communicate telepathically, even while in Wild Shape. Note that Pact Magic is a different feature than spellcasting, substituting a small number of increasingly powerful spells for higher level slots. Cleric 1, War Domain. Since most of our levels are frontline melee fighters, we'll get the most use out of the War Domain's level 1 feature, War Priest. This gives us the option to attack as a bonus in action, which stands in for the multi-attack feature.
Jesus Christ.
Sorcerer 1, Wild Magic Origin. I have 2 reasons for choosing this origin. 1, the single luck point is the most generally helpful feature available to the sorcerer class. And 2, rolling on the Wild Magic table is one of my favorite things in the game.
Yeah.
Spellcasting. Every spellcasting class has the option to add a number of cantrips to your list. There's no restriction on the number total of cantrips you know. Always pick the class's signature cantrips. There's Vicious Mockery for Bard, Sacred Flame for Cleric, Mage Hand for Wizard, and so on. We ended up with Absorb Elements. Let's see. Here's the full list I chose in alphabetical order. So this is the whole list of spells. Absorb Elements, Armor of Agathis, Blade Ward, Control Flames, Cure Wounds, Dancing Lights, Detect Magic, Druidcraft, Eldritch Blast, Expeditious Retreat, Fairy Fire, Featherfall, Fog Cloud, Friends, Guiding Bolt, Gust, Healing Word, Hellish Rebuke, Heroism, Ice Knife, Jump, Long Strider, Mage Armor, Mage Hand, Magic Missile, Magic Stone, Mold Earth, Resistance, Sacred Flame, Sanctuary, Shape Water, Shield, Spare the Dying, Thorn Whip, Thunder Wave, and Vicious Mockery. Wow.
That is a lot of bullshit.
Alright, so one of your players lays that character sheet at your hands. It says, this is what I want to play.
I would look at them and say, you're welcome to try. That is not going to live very long.
Right. Multi-class in everything.
No.
I mean, I've considered a triplicate multi-class, but that's about it.
Only if you're able to go and math it beyond 20.
Yeah.
And beyond 20 gets real, well,
Funny.
not necessarily funny, but complicated. Because at that point, you can walk up and punch God.
Yep. And really, my triplicate subclass build was 2 different subclasses of fighter and a subclass of barbarian.
See, and really, you can't do 2 classes of fighter because of the archetype.
Mm-hmm.
Though, interestingly enough, Arcane Archer plus Ranger would work real well even with the overlap. The overlap would actually be helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fuck it. Let's look up a list of best multi-classes. And then I want you to argue against it.
Against it?
Yes.
Oh, so this is like debate class in high school. Got it. What time is it?
It's 5:06.
Oh,
There's
it's
just a
right
little
before.
longer till bio break.
Yeah.
Let's see. Game Rant, Dungeons and Dragons, 17 best multi-classing combinations.
Let's go with the first 10. Or we'll start off with the first 5 and finish it up when we get back.
Yep. Storm Herald Barbarian up to Echo Knight Fighter 3. Imagine a barbarian unleashing unchecked fury from any direction they wish. This is the kind of versatility the Echo Knight provides the barbarian, especially since their Unleash Incarnation allows the Echo Knight to change the point of origin of their combinations.
Where's Echo Knight come from?
I'm gonna open that in a Chrome browser.
Yeah, because that one doesn't sound familiar to me.
Echo Knight source book. That would be in the Explorer's Guide to Wild Gnome, which I do have somewhere. Let me double check my Google Drive because then I can read it to you. But Echo Knight, oh god.
Okay, so that's part of the Taldora setting.
You remember when in Critical Role, which we love you guys by the way, it was one of the times when Laura Bailey's character had the whiteout moment. They were fighting that the one woman who kept creating duplicates of herself.
Yeah.
She was an Echo Knight.
Ah.
And they can summon a lot of shit. And they're terrifying. And I have no desire to get caught in the wrath of any of them.
Good to know. It's like, wait, yeah, oh yeah, that's right.
Kalora would run away from an Echo Knight.
Not if she didn't have a choice.
Yeah, Echo Knights are fun.
You know, that's one of those things, well, after you get your family back. If it says that either you fight it or it's going to hunt yours until the end of the earth.
Yeah, then she's not running away from anything.
Yeah, do you know what I had to do to get that? Fuck you.
Yep. So let's see. Rage, Barbarian level 1. Core aspect of a Barbarian's kit. Activating this gives advantage on strength checks and saves on top of damage bonuses per Barbarian level, as well as the resistances to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. Reckless attack at level 2. Barbarians can get advantage on their attacks for their turn in exchange for enemies getting advantage on attacks. Storm Aura, Raging Storm, Storm Soul, Storm Herald Barbarian levels 3, 6, and 14. Barbarians can conjure a Storm Aura based on an environment that has different effects, giving them quasi-control role. Feral Instinct is a Barbarian level 7. Relentless Rage Barbarian level 11. Unleash Incarnation Echo Knight Fighter level 3. When players take the attack action, they can use the Echo to make an additional melee attack. They can do this a number of times based on their Constitution modifier before taking a long rest. So Kalora goes, "There's 5 of me! Oh, and on my turn I can hit you with all of them." But no, Echo Knights are broken and wonderful, and whichever member of the Critical Role team that helped write that is a god.
Actually, I have this odd feeling that was written specifically, like, there are a few things running around my world that are that kind of what the fuck. There's like a whole archetype of barbarians in Nox Vitalia that you guys have not found yet. You just haven't gone where they are. They frighten me, and I made them. I'm afraid that one day they will decide to be very Japanese about things and kill their gods. Because then I am fucked.
From computer, I think that's where it is. D&D stuff. Nope. Folders.
You looking for the book?
Yes, because I have it somewhere. I have like 600 books in my Google Drive.
Oh, Jesus. Hold off on that then. What was the next class? Because I can't really argue against that. That is just...
Epic and beautiful?
It is and it isn't.
Found it.
It's in there?
Yep. Yeah, it was under my research books tab.
Makes sense. That is good research.
Alright, well that's loading over here. We will hop over for a minute. Any ranger class up to assassin rogue 10. Multi-class option rogue, requirement dexterity 3. Any ranger, key to the build is being able to select any ranger archetype, giving players enough freedom to approach combat in a variety of styles depending on what the party needs. So fighting style from the ranger level 2. The extra fighting style can help diversify their damage options. Sneak attack rogue level 1 can deal an extra 1d6 to an opponent per turn, provided they have advantage, with the damage dice scaling through the rogue levels. Expertise rogue level 1, double their proficiency bonuses for ability checks involving 2 skills or 1 skill in thieves' tools. Cunning action at rogue level 2, assassin rogue level 3. The assassin has advantage to attack rolls to creatures who haven't taken a turn in combat yet. Steady aim. The rogue level 3 can give themselves advantage on their next attack roll if they haven't moved for their turn. This reduces them to 0 speed during their next turn though. Uncanny dodge. Rogue level 5. The rogue can use their reaction to halve the damage of an attack they can see. And evasion. Rogue level 7. The rogue can take no damage if they succeed on a dex save caused by an attack.
Yeah.
It's a glorious build.
It is, as long as you're not going to try and get up and be all dagger about it. I mean, sure, there's the dual weapon fighting, 2 weapon fighting rangers, plus you're going to get your weapons bonuses from a ranger. I could definitely see that being viable, but you're also going to miss out on the very limited ranger spell list. Some of those higher level ranger spells you really do want. I mean, anything past like 5 levels in rogue I wouldn't really want to do, even though there is the backstab bonus, because it's not going to go over, considering like some of the spells you can cast as a ranger at level like 14, 15.
It's taking its time loading. It's a big book.
There's a lot of big books.
Yeah. Let's see. Circle of Dreams Druid up to Life Cleric 2.
That is a lot of redundancies. Circle of Dreams is a heavy duty heal.
Mm-hmm.
And Circle of Life Cleric is an all heal. Sure, you're going to get a couple extra spells out of one, but honestly, I've played a Circle of Dreams Druid.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just kind of beastie.
Yeah, definitely.
They don't need the cleric help in order to heal. They're already there.
It looks like they're adding 2 levels of Life Domain Cleric. Proficiency with heavy armor can bolster the druid's overall base defense, making them a more effective tank. And Channel Divinity, Preserve Life, Life Domain Cleric level 2. Cleric gets a pool worth 5 cleric level, wherein players can Distribute these hit points to heal others, but not above half their max HP. Up to 10 HP of healing is still more than enough to provide emergency healing in extreme emergencies.
That would make sense. Which one's got Circle of Dreams?
Circle
I
of...
think it's Tasha.
Very probably Tasha.
If not Tasha, it's definitely in Xanathar, because like I said, I played that one.
Yeah, no. Though, if we do pull out Strahd, I am building an Echo Knight to take into that. Because I've watched enough people get into that first big confrontational fight and lose party members.
Nope, it's Circle of Wildfires, Stars, and that one's in Xanathar. Okay. Easy enough to remedy. So let's take a look at this insanity. Bards, no. One of my favorite bard classes is in here. Druids, here we go. Circle of the Shepherd, they're kind of cool.
Yep, Xanathars.
Circle of Dreams, here we go. Yeah, Balm of the Summer Court. You have a pool of Fey energy represented by a number of d6s equal to your druid level. And as a bonus action, you can choose one creature you can see within 120 feet of you and spend a number of those dice equal to half your druid level or less. So you get a total of 10d6 in AoE, anybody within, for a bonus action. The number of hit points equal to the total also. The target also gains 1 temporary hit point per die spent. So on top of that, they also gain, say you blow 5 die on this person because it's like they're really hurting. So 5d6 plus they get 5 temporary hit points on top of that. That's a maximum of 30 plus 5 temps. That's a much better than the... And if you mop that up to level 20, then it gets a maximum of 10d6 you can drop at once with 10 temporary hit points. That could either be a really shitty roll, somebody gets 10 by 10, or it could be a really awesome roll and they get 60 by 10 back. And that's just Balm of the Summer Court, which that's going to blow all of it until you finish a long rest, but if you're blowing that many hit points off in one, or you're that much healing off in one round, it better be the big bad or you're a really crappy healer. Hearth of Moon and Moonlight and Shadow. While within the sphere, you and your allies gain a +5 dexterity. Start of a rest, you touch a point in space, and an invisible 30-foot radius sphere of magic appears centered on that point to cover and block the sphere. Okay, so they also are good for hiding you. Hidden magical pathways that some Fae use to traverse space in the blink of an eye. As a bonus action on your turn, you can teleport up to 60 feet to an unoccupied space that you can see. With all the other druid heal spells, as a bonus action, being able to teleport once per round and be able to have a druid soak over, even without the, I mean, sure, heavy armor proficiency, woohoo. There are better things than wearing heavy armor, especially since most things can, your plate mail's not going to do you much good.
Oh, that was a fight that killed Laudna. Sorry. My brain just finally drew the connection to the fight I was trying to talk about.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, the first time.
Yeah. Blame that on my ADHD.
Yeah, but I'm looking at Circle of Dreams. At 14th level, you can travel mentally or physically through the Dreamlands. Plus, you take all the other things that you get with Druid up to 20 after that. Because you stop getting bonuses to Circle of Dreams at 14. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't matter, because then you get all of the stuff from rest of the druid class, which by the end of it, that just means that all of your wild shapes are going to be through the roof again.
Yep. And the next class has Echo Knight in it as well, and I got that pulled up.
Okay. What is it?
It's Echo Knight. Okay, back over to Chrome. No, not Google. Chrome.
No, what's the...
Oh, the description on the Echo Knight?
No, what's the class? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm switching over to Chrome to pull that up. Echo Knight Fighter up to Battlesmith Artificer level 3. Echo Knight is regarded as one of the more efficient fighter subclasses for its technical versatility, with the Echo Duplicate allowing players to dish out multiple attacks from different directions. Combining this with the Battlesmith Artificer gives spellcasting versatility to the ordinarily melee-dependent fighter build. Unleash Incarnation, martial versatility, reclaim potential from the Echo Knight Fighter level 15, and action surge from level 2. Doesn't actually tell you what the bonuses you'd be getting from level bonuses from the Artificer dip.
Yeah. It's just giving you a little bit the extra cantrips and a few. Ew. That's like the last one where you're better off just going full bore.
Mm-hmm. Though, as I mentioned, reclaim potential is beastie. You've learned to absorb the fleeting magic of your echo. When an echo of yours is destroyed by taking damage, you gain a number of temporary hit points equal to 2d6 plus your constitution modifier, provided you don't already have temporary hit points. If you use this feature, you can use this feature a number of times equal to your constitution modifier, a minimum of once. You regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. So, but at level 15, let me see. Manifest Echo. You can use a bonus action to magically manifest an echo of yourself in an unoccupied space you can see within 15 feet. Echo Avatar at level 7 with that. Yeah, you can have up to, it looks like you can get up to 5 of them.
Yeah, you don't need an artificer at that point because you can manifest it within 15 feet and that's autonomous.
Mm-hmm. And your echoes can take their attacks on your turn.
Well, yeah. They're an echo of you. But that means that one guy can literally hit 6 people all at once. So, and you can't echo the spell casting. But they can echo your combats.
Yep, and they get an AC of 14 plus your proficiency bonus.
Yeah, that's beastie. It's better armor class than your fucking main has.
Right.
Go for the one that's easy to hit.
Which one? Who's who?
They all hit it just as hard, though.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, see. You don't need to add Artificer to that. If you're trying to add Artificer to that, you're not breaking anything. You're actually selling it short. Unless it's in the character that they want to tinker with things and build odd objects and wondrous items and make artifacts. There's...
I see why they took 2 levels of something else. Echo Knight capstones at 18. With their Legion of 1. Making summoning your echoes a bonus action instead of an action.
Oh. It capstones at 18 and then you just have 2 levels after that.
Mm-hmm. Which you can continue on in Fighter, because Fighter just as a overall class has a capstone at 20.
Yeah, and then you get the rest of the Fighter bonuses, which at 20 is nice.
Right?
I forget what Fighter's 20 is. Because that's if you make it to 20. Most people don't make it past 15.
Oh, this next one's a 3-way multi-class. Shadow Monk, up to Assassin Rogue 3, up to Ranger, any subclass, level 2. Shadow Arts, good?
With all the arguments about redundancies earlier,
Right?
enough said.
Next one's any class up to Fighter 11. Just any class. If you pair anything with a fighter 11.
Because you get 2 extra attacks at 11.
Yep. Any charisma class pairing, multi-class options, bard, paladin, sorcerer, and warlock.
Okay, you get a 3rd extra attack at level 20, is it? Plus you get your ability score improvement at level 19 for a
General fighter.
for a fighter, yeah.
Which nullifies almost all of the benefits you would get from a 2nd level anything artificer, let alone battlesmith.
Yeah. And like at level 20 as a druid, you can use your wild shape an unlimited number of times. Now, wild shape is a bonus action. Right? By the time you're a 20th level druid, you can wild shape into just about fucking anything.
Yep.
So, wild shape into an elephant, get hit by a dragon, lose all your hit points, now you're back to your original body, but your hit points is where you left off. You're still quite alive. That was its turn. Wild shape into a rhino, charge it, gore it, it runs off of your attack bonuses.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
You have perpetual hit points and you never age at level 20 as a druid. You stopped aging before you hit level 20, actually. For druids, you do. You end up with basically an immortal body well before you hit level 20. And being able to traverse through the Feywild at will, or through the dream, physically through dreams, as a druid of the Circle of Dreams. Like, that's some Freddy Krueger type shit there.
Right?
No, I'll just wild shape into anything you fragging want.
Yeah.
Because there are no limits to wild. I believe you at least get one elemental no matter what as a wild shape as a druid.
Mm-hmm.
So, wild shape into a water elemental.
Ooh. Yeah. I like that.
Then jump in the ocean. Good luck hitting you. Alright.
Well, it is 5:28.
So we should definitely take ourselves a little bit of a break. Get up, move around, be human like that. Oh, I had the release date. I found out the Final Fantasy IV or the Final Fantasy tabletop game will be coming out in May of next year is when it's slated. And I'm really excited to just like check that out and see what it's looking like. Because that could just be fun as a sometimes thing. You know, one shots in a different world.
Yep.
Different physics work in different worlds is how I look at it. Like if it was me doing the Christmas one this year, it would be I was gonna go and L5R it and go through the Winter Court.
Nice.
Do a festivity narrated intrigue, something real pretty and nice and winter, therefore non-denominational. Just
Yeah.
enjoying the things that are. But yes, we are going to take a break. We shall return upon thee shortly.
Yes.
Level up your gaming space with metal posters from Displate. Hang your displates in seconds. Swap them whenever you like. Get official art from your favorite games on a uniquely designed metal.
And we are back.
We are back.
Sorry about that.
We have changed direction with our
Slightly.
We were talking about the upcoming Christmas one-shot, or holiday one-shot, rather. Now this one is very specifically Christmas.
Like corporate Christmas, not like white baby Jesus in a manger in the middle of March in the southern hemisphere Christmas. Yeah, that's right. It gets cold like that in March in the southern hemisphere.
This is a one-shot by Rune Foundry, which, hi, I love that your one-shots are so affordable. I will continue to buy them. Rune Found, hashtag not sponsored.
Nope, not at all.
Just genuinely love their work.
Yeah, from what I've been hearing of this on the break, we kind of got immersed. Sorry that took so long.
Let's see. Isn't he coming to say hi to us? A small girl asks as she tugs on your cloak. You've been getting this question a lot in the last hour. Naturally, everyone is excited to see him and to tell him they've been good, but they're right. He should have come by now.
Oh, now you're giving spoilers?
Oh, this is just the introductory thing that's their description of the campaign.
Oh, okay, that's how it starts.
Yeah.
Okay. Keep going then.
Yep, he should have come by now. After reassuring the child that all will be well, you begin to make your way through the train car. When the door slides open and a loud voice booms over the racket of the occupied train, empty your pockets and drop your cookies. Santa won't be hosting today. We've taken over the northern locomotive.
See? And that's the night that the reindeer got in the moonshine.
But overall, it is encased in 4 train cars, from the front to the back, which has the mail, and an opportunity for up to six bandits to attack the party in every car, or on every car, depending on how you go about it. But there are things in place that can help the party gain the upper hand. It's a level 4 campaign, and it looks like it's a definitely a one night game.
Woot! That'll just be a blast. I mean, you should go back over some of those magical items that you were talking about, because some of this, it's like not spoilery, but like the snow henchman.
Yeah.
That thing's hilarious.
Skipping past the location and the conclusion, obviously. To the items. There are 2 items available to the party in this particular one-shot: a Christmas cookie and hot cocoa. The Christmas cookie is glazed with red frosting, pine tree sprinkles, and Christmas spirit. This ginger-infused sugar cookie is sure to please at any holiday get-together. Eating it, you immediately recover 2d4 plus 2 hit points.
Now, level 4, 2d4 plus 2 doesn't seem great. I mean, you roll low, you're going to get 4 hit points.
Mm-hmm.
But let's just be honest about something. At level 4, 4 hit points is a lot.
Yeah.
Unless you're a barbarian, and then it doesn't mean shit to you.
Yeah. It's enough to keep you alive.
I can't math how much of my life that is. Barbarian dump stats.
And then the hot chocolate. This isn't just any old mug of hot chocolate. It's Mrs. Claus's secret recipe. Drink it to gain the effects of the haste spell for 1 minute, no concentration required. How else would Santa be able to deliver presents all in one night?
Santa's all cracked out on and hopped up on hot cocoa. With Christmas cookies to keep his health replenished so he doesn't get points of exhaustion.
Though, I do, like, just in thinking about this, I love the idea that physics is a thing. Because the top of the train, which it does seem like this is kind of gearing you to being fighting on top of the train to protect the passengers. Tops of trains traveling through to the North Pole would be very icy. Have you ever run across a patch of ice in boots?
Yes.
And then tried to stop?
Okay, I'm going to simplify that for you In 1993, I was in the Appalachian Mountains, and I went. Yeah, well, there was this much ice on the ground. Everywhere. You had to use a meat hammer to knock the ice off the steps in the morning so you didn't fall on your ass leaving the house. That was after we got the door open.
Yep.
Like, so... Yeah, I've totally had to deal with that because that was the year that you didn't go sled riding. You took your sled, you put it on top of the snow, and slid down on the ice.
Yep. I've done that. I've done that.
That shit is terrible.
The little small town I grew up in gets plenty of snow and ice every year.
This place might get it this year, actually.
Yeah, no, just thinking of the effect of haste when atop the train. There's a lot of room for some funny shenanigans.
Ice-covered train in the wind.
Hey, you're moving twice as fast. Have fun! Yeah, I'm gonna need a dexterity saving throw now. Roll high.
Level 4, you can't set the difficulty too high on that.
Reasonably, it could be a 15.
If a gust came through, yeah, but you can acclimate to it relatively well.
No, I would say reasonably be a 15 because it's a bit above the average challenge if you're running on ice and try to stop.
So don't run.
Right. Walk quickly.
And with purpose.
Yes.
Not porpoise, purpose.
Yeah.
Walking with porpoise does nothing.
I could see monks playing this really, really well.
Aberrant Minds would too.
That'd be fun. And then your enchanted rewards, should you be successful, are like just adorable. Just adorable. The tinsel garland of grappling, blessed by the Big John the Man himself. This 10-foot garland made of silver and gold tinsel gives the holder advantage on grappling attempts, strength or dex. To grapple, use the garland as if it were a whip, and then when you do, it magically wraps itself around the targeted creature within melee range. If successful, a cheerful Christmas jingle plays.
And you can find this.
You can find it, or you can be rewarded with it for succeeding. Which means next year, we could be level 6s on the Northern Locomotive with our toys and treats from last year.
What's this? Kung Fu tinsel.
Right.
If I played a monk, they would design an entire like martial art around that tinsel over the course of the year. Grapple their wrists together.
You're right. The two turtle doves are just adorable.
Fly to each other no matter where they are.
Yep, as long as they are on the same plane. They could even be on the opposite ends of the world and find each other again within one flight.
That could be helpful or problematic.
Mm-hmm. And the ugly Christmas sweater, originally knitted by Mrs. Clark for Santa a few Christmases ago, but now regifted to you. This ugly Christmas sweater features an array of horizontal peppermint stripes, small jingle bells, and an unamused orc wearing a Santa hat. The sweater lights up with Christmas lights that encircle the orc's head, and the wearer is granted +1 to intimidation, persuasion, and performance checks, but -1 to stealth and sleight of hand. Double those modifiers if checking with or against orcs.
And I will be dead honest, I really want one.
Right?
And I want to play an orc and wear it.
That's great.
A half orc and an ugly Christmas sweater. Half orc barbarian and an ugly Christmas sweater with a bonus on all those charisma checks.
Right, and Frosty the Henchman. A small figurine of Frosty the Snowman that, if thrown into a pile of snow, will sprout into a 6-foot-tall snowman who will fight alongside you and your party. The henchman will live in below freezing temperatures for 24 hours before turning into snowflakes and drifting away in the wind, or he'll last up to 10 minutes in warmer temperatures, slowly shrinking with each minute that passes. Armor class 10, hit points 16, damage immunity, cold, damage vulnerability, fire. Snowball Fury, a ranged attack. Frosty must roll 1d4 to determine how many snowballs are thrown in one turn. +2 to hit, range 60 feet. One target, hit 1d4 cold damage per snowball. Claws, melee attack, plus 2 to hit, reach 5 feet. One target, hit 1d4 plus 2 slashing damage.
See, when you hit that snowball barrage thing, I totally see. You remember the cartoons where you'd see that one show? There was one where the guy turned into a snowman and he gets in the snowball fight and you watch the snowman basically windmilling snowballs at the kid. That's kind of what I picture that looking like. Look at Frosty and say, roll your snowballs down the hill at them.
Right.
Get someplace high, roll the snowballs down the hill. They do have at least some intelligence, yes.
Uh-huh. But I think the fun of this is that you're on a train moving at speed, so it does limit your ability to use your environment.
Yeah.
You'd almost have to be on top of the train to use Frosty the Hedgehog.
For more than 10 minutes.
Well, you'd need a pile of snow.
Overly large crystal snow count?
Maybe.
An ice box. I need the ice box for the adults' drinks.
Poof. Hi!
Frosty, start chucking. Sticking in the ice machine. Stick him in the ice machine to a fucking hotel.
Though I just gotta say, I feel so bad for these Christmas elves. They must be so frightened being that they have a 10 in everything and 4 hit points.
They're commoners. They have no bonuses. They have no disadvantages, though.
Yep. They get 1 melee attack every turn. With a club. And their passive perception is 10.
Well, yeah, because they don't have any wisdom bonuses.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the Naughty List Bandit Captain has 65 hit points. Or 10d8 plus 20. So it could have 28 if I rolled really badly. Which I am that DM that will roll each NPC's hit points.
It depends on what's going on.
Yeah.
If it's a random encounter, nope, I'll use the average.
Yep.
The average is geared for the party I'm currently dealing with, actually.
Well, I will say I have the one advantage that is particular in only having one session a month for my game. I have plenty of time to build encounters.
Yeah, and so do I, and I have.
Yeah, I'm talking.
And I'm getting better at it.
Prepping the hit points. I can come to game with not just the items that are available and the thing, like the general idea of it, but when I step in and say how many are there of something, I have the hit points pre-rolled. I don't have to do that right before game.
Yeah, I do, but that's just because there is the off chance, especially with travel right now, that you're not going to run into what we're expecting. Like, with these one-shots, it's point A to point B, we all know what the drill is.
Yes.
Don't screw up the plot. You can't break this one like we would try to break the open worlds. You're on a fast-moving train going north. It's going north. It's moving fast. You're here on security detail. It's pretty cut and dry. Do your job. You know?
Yep, and nowhere in this does it say that train ever stops moving.
Well, when it gets to its destination, it stops moving.
Yes.
Unless those guys were just aiming to kill Santa and then they just let the train wreck at the North Pole and jump off into the snowbanks. Now there's a way that we could accelerate it and make it a little bit more blah. Like, put a time constraint on it. That would make that damn near impossible. Roughly 5 hours or roughly 2 hours from the North Pole, and then start an actual stopwatch with 120 minutes on it.
to read you the description of the naughty list bandit captain, because I just...
The description of the naughty list bandit captain. He is the naughtiest of the naughties.
I'm not the,
You'll have to forgive me. I
Stop.
watched God's podcast today. Did you see what it is this year?
No.
A rubber dildo crucifix Christmas. Love you, God.
Let's see. Naughty list bandit captain, lawful evil. The naughty list bandit captain stands taller than the rest, both in stature as well as fear-inducing presence. His voice commands the attention of those around him, and his eyebrows are indicative of his one emotion, anger. He is cunning and manipulative and uses his jealousy of those on the nice list to fuel his Christmas conquest. Ultimately, he wants to use the Christmas elves as labor to make weapons for his greedy crew.
He wants to use the what?
He wants to use the Christmas elves as labor to make weapons for his greedy crew. Appearance.
Yes.
Human male, late 50s. Like his bandits, the captain was able to sneak aboard the locomotive disguised as one from the nice list. Surprising as that may be, his bulging, hairy, tattooed arms have burst the seams of his bright green knitted sweater, struggling to remain intact. It depicts an evergreen tree strung with lights that actually twinkle and has tiny sleigh bells attached to the front. His white beard flows in mockery of jolly old Saint Nick.
So he's like prison Santa in a bad sweater. I love it. You know Bluto from Popeye?
Yup.
I picture Bluto bulgy wearing this gaudy Christmas tree sparkly Christmas sweater.
It's bursting at every seam.
All the seams bursting. There's some splits along the triceps and the forearm and the biceps, like where you can see through the knit of the sweater from it being stretched too thin. Like when he tried to shove his head through it, he ripped the collar a little bit. He tried to pull it down all the way over his head, and that arc at the collarbone is like he has no neck. So it's just kind of... His pecs split the bottom of it on the way down, so it kind of bells out like a dress from the titty. And there's, like, along the side seams, everything held together because it's a sweater and it's stretchy and all. But it never is going to conform back to his waist size again. Oh wait, it's in every direction, so no, he's got a beer gut. He's Bluto.
Now, the bandits aren't much better. The bandits were successful in sneaking aboard the train and did so by disguising themselves as folk from the nice list. Many of them wear red and white striped tunics, fluffy white earmuffs, and green mittens. But they do it all in vain. Instead of scimitars and crossbows, they wield sharpened candy canes and toy hand cannons. They all carry small leather pouches on their belts, likely filled with coal or other joyless prizes. So, Prison Santa and his prison elves.
Prison Santa and the Chain Gang.
So yeah, this will definitely be a humor-filled night.
The fact that they're using sharpened candy canes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just putting this out there. I gotta ask. If I use grapple and disarm with a fighter, can I eat his candy cane?
Yes.
Well, I figured out what I want to play. Because grapple is a free... Grapple's basic action, I could monk it.
Yeah.
Monk it because then grapple's just a basic attack. Unarmed strike.
Yeah.
What's the hand cannon for? What's in the hand? What does the hand cannon fire?
Nerf darts.
Does it even hurt?
If they hit you correctly, they deal 1d4 damage, -2. If they hit you incorrectly, they could very well heal you.
Really?
From Christmas spirit.
That's in the
Fuck.
writing?
No. No, it doesn't tell you what they're loaded with, so I'm just like, you know what, fuck it. They're loaded with Nerf darts that if you get hit badly, you might get healed because
Well,
you get
they
the
should
chuckle.
tell you what damage the hand cannon does.
Actually, let me look, because there's a good chance they don't actually, because I don't think they anticipated people playing with the hand cannons. Let's see, toy hand cannon is, where are you?
Oh, the little thug wompers
Plus
have
3
it.
to hit, range 80 feet, 320 feet, 1 target, 1d8 plus 1 is what they do. So, yeah, if they hit you hard enough in the right place, like the eyeball.
No, so it's an actual, like,
They're toy
powder
hand
loaded. It's a toy. It looks like a toy cannon, but it's a pistol.
No, it's a toy cannon. It's just got a reinforced rubber band. No gunpowder. Would I absolutely hand this to a small child? Loaded with foam darts. Because they weren't able to get on the train with their actual weapons.
Monking this would be wrong. A candy cane? Really? The Shaolin Temple security force meets the Christmas thugs. Three monks and a train ride. That's all you need to beat this.
Oh.
3 level 4 monks would totally womp the piss out of that.
Yeah, yeah.
They could even be all open hand.
But fighting prison stand is gonna be fun. You get snagged in a hanging wire from his twinkling Christmas sweater. He gains an attack of opportunity on his next turn as he's technically grappled, but still able to use his free actions because you're entangled. He can't get away from you, you can't get away from him.
Yeah, but I can kick him, I can punch him. I'm going to knee Santa in the groin.
And then, of course, you got the jolly old man himself who eventually joins the party. Eventually. Whether it's after all the fun has happened or not is up to the DM.
It depends on party necessity.
Yeah, if you guys are getting whomped by these guys, I might bring in the jolly old man.
That would take a lot of natural ones.
Yeah.
With what you just described to me, that would take a whole lot of natural ones.
Yeah.
How much damage does a sharpened candy cane do then?
Oh god.
How big are these motherfucking candy canes? Let's talk about this realistically.
They have a reach of 5 feet. Plus 3 to hit, reach 5 feet, 1 target, and it is 1d6 plus 1 slashing damage. So they look to be about the size of a dagger. Because they deal the same damage as
They do how much damage?
1d6 plus 1.
That's a short sword. Or a rapier.
Oh yeah, daggers are 1d4, aren't they? See, they're big candy canes. And pointy on one end now. Which makes me wonder how long they've been planning this attack.
It's been a long train ride. They had to go pick up kids from all over the world and then take them to the North Pole for Christmas. Primarily focusing on God knows who. Just kids on the good, nice list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've had a lot of time to be sharpening their candy canes.
Yeah.
There's a reason that they gave these kids 6 foot tall candy canes and it's only a 5 foot reach.
Now can you imagine 30 kids having drank Mrs. Claus's cocoa? Losing their shit in a panic. Because that's what happens in the very opening scene. As soon as things go wrong, you've got 30 cracked out hellspawn
Yes.
that you have to protect because they are not of any help. They panicked. They're stupid.
And in big bold letters on the back cover of the book, in glowing neon, it read, "Don't panic."
Panicked 4-year-olds are fun, though.
Only if I have a lot of firecrackers and they don't know it.
I need to visit your bathroom again.
Well, actually, what time do we have?
It is 6:18.
Alright, well, actually, we should probably wrap this up because Peter should be showing up in the relatively near future.
Alright, well then I'm going to visit your bathroom. See you next week for iCast Wish. Where...
See you Sunday for more D&D stuff.
Yeah, that too.
And I'll probably be streaming at some point this evening or tomorrow night. Thank you again, and have a great evening.